Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome into episode 124 of the Second to One podcast. Joining you today is myself, Shiz Micah Parsons. We also have Mr. Mo Snell, and we also have I Got Your Hat. Fellas, how are y'all feeling this evening? We're in the month of May.
I'm excellent.
I
I feel
feel good.
fantastic.
I feel beautiful, man.
Feel good? All right, good. Weather's still kind of shaky, but as Memorial Day, hopefully full summer be here. But we'll see. At
It was,
least
it
there's
was
no, at least there's no snow on the ground. That's the good
yeah, it
part.
was it was nice yesterday. Snow, but I was out there running, and like as soon as it stopped raining, it got like hot. So that was good. Might be straight humidity, but that's fine.
Yeah. All right. So how this podcast work? We talk mostly about sports, hip hop, politics, and everything in between. We give it to you straight, raw, no chaser. And if we offend you, we apologize slightly. Usually, how we kick things off, we have our taking a shot segment where we give a bold prediction about one of the topics I just named. Collectively we do about 80%, but when you're taking a shot, you're bound to have a few hiccups here and there. I'm gonna kick it off. We just had the NFL draft. Many things to discuss. NBA playoffs is coming up. Many things to discuss. But I'm gonna stick to football, and I'm gonna go to this AFC West.
Boy,
I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it to Las Vegas.
boy.
This will be John Gruden's last year as head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Ooh,
I know he signed a 10-year deal that they had to give him a huge, lucrative offer to get him out of Las Vegas. Um, I mean, get him out of the booth for Monday Night Football. He's steadily improved, but not improved enough. The first season was like 4-12, 7-9, 8-8 last year. But I just think that for what they're paying him and some of the draft picks decisions that's been made over, like, especially this year, they drafted like 2, 3 safeties. The draft was just very erratic. Their first round pick was a had like a second round grade in some mock drafts and all that stuff. So I think there's a rift between John Gruden and Mike Mayock, who's like the GM, and I just feel like people are getting tired of like the Gruden grinders, Spidey 2Y banana. All that people are getting tired of that. And with the pending trade of Aaron Rodgers, the Denver Broncos are the heavy favorite. The Las Vegas Raiders, they're in there, but I think they're like somewhere between 5-1 or 8-1, something along those lines. If Aaron Rodgers ends up in that division, you're gonna have Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. There's no way for Gruden to win. I know Derek Carr is he's a a nice, a little bit above average quarterback, but when you have those two juggernauts in your division, you can't win. So I think Gruden he had unless he can strike a deal to get Aaron Rodgers, he may be able to save his job. But I just think what's getting ready to happen if this Rodgers does move to Denver, we'll talk about that a little later. He's going to have no chance to win the division. He's probably going to have minimal chance to make the playoffs. And you're going to go 4 full years without making the playoffs, and you're getting paid all this money. I think the decision will be made, and he'll be fired. Um, Smo, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts, sir?
I I agree. If Aaron Rodgers goes to Denver, I don't know if he will be fired, but he may say, "Listen, I'm gonna see myself out. I'm gonna go ahead and he may give a listen. Things are on the up and up. I'm gonna pass this thing along to whoever the assistant is, and bow his way out. Because yeah, like you said, that may be too much to overcome if you're in that division with those two quarterbacks.
And I didn't
And
even mention Herbert, who's like really good. So
yeah, and Herbert, like just to be in a division with those quarterbacks, and then you're kind of in quarterback limbo with Derek Carr, where he's good enough to start, but maybe probably not good enough to get you to a Super Bowl and win it. So you may have to be before this contract is up. He's possibly looking at like a rebuild where those teams are fully loaded at a key position that you need. So yeah, if Aaron Rodgers does land in Denver, I could definitely see Gruden probably not getting fired, but saying, "Listen, I'm gonna help you guys out. I'm gonna give you some of this money back, but let me escort myself out. That's what I can see happening.
All right, I got your hat.
It's tough because I think they're gonna let him ride out. Like I think in their eyes, because if it was me, I'd have been fired. Gruden. He's just the drafts they've had are just stupid. Like I don't understand, and you might be right. It might be him and Mayock arguing because I don't know how you sit in the draft room and draft. They drafted 3 safeties, right?
2 safeties, and they drafted Alex Leatherwood
Yeah,
first
Alex.
round.
Yeah, they got Alex.
Yeah, so they draft 2 safeties when they already have the dude from Alabama on the roster. I can't think of his name right now.
Abrams.
Yeah, Abrams. They already got Abrams. So, like, what sense does that make? None. So, but I think I think in their eyes, Gruden can do no wrong. I think they're going to ride out. I think they'll fire Mayock before they get rid of Gruden. But yeah, I think that team is just fucking horrible, man. It's like there's no way to put it. Gruden doesn't have any. He doesn't have anything to do anything with. Like you got Derek Carr. Outside of that, you're struggling. And right now, you don't even know if Derek Carr is going to be the future quarterback. You know what I mean? Because Mariota came in last year and did a couple good things. So now you're kind of questioning it, like, could we get rid of Carr and just put Mariota right there to get us through, kind of be a bridge quarterback or something like that? But
well, I'll tell you what, if they did that, Gruden might not make it to Thanksgiving because that Mariota ain't it. He had a good game.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I know he's not it, but it might get to a point where you get rid of Carr, get some money, free up some money, and try to get somebody else. I don't know.
All right, moving on. Snell, you're taking a shot, sir.
Listen, I think the
Okay.
Well, all right.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
So I'll go. I'll take my shot. So I think the way that the Lakers are constructed right now, and the way that the NBA is going, I think the Lakers win the next 2 fucking championships. Just for the simple fact that this year I think they're going to win it easily, right? I think they'll either play the Nets or the Sixers, and they're 10 times better than the Sixers. The only people that can give them trouble is the Nets, but the Nets don't have enough chemistry. Like they haven't played together enough. And even though I think they're number 1 in the East, even though that they're number 1 in the East, like they don't play any defense, right? They don't play any defense. And the Lakers, they just have so many bodies that they can throw at them. You know, they just got too much. So then when you coming back next year, I don't think LeBron's going to get hurt, but I think he's going to play the management game. Like he might not be in games as long, you know what I mean? And then just save himself for the playoffs and the finals. And I think if you do that, I mean, there's no other team out there that can beat them. Because what I see in the NBA is I see bad teams get okay rookies, but that's not enough because you got maybe 4 or 5 teams that are like almost like super teams. Like you just can't compete with them.
Yeah. So as far as the Lakers winning the championship, I think it's going to be really tough for them. Like you said, they're going to go back to back.
I think they're going to go back. Yeah, I think they're going to go back to back.
Yeah, I don't see that. I think it's going to be pretty difficult for them because LeBron re-aggravated that ankle, so it's a possibility they could slip into that play-in game or play-in tournament, which is like I would expect them to win that small tournament, but still like then you're going to have to play Utah or Phoenix, and while they should win that series, you're going to like kind of wear yourself out a little bit because then you're going to have like the Clippers waiting for you. And I think they're gonna have revenge on their mind for what happened to them last year. Like they're not gonna allow Denver to like get them again or have any slip ups. I think they're gonna be really really focused. Rondo, playoff Rondo, he'll be there to like orchestrate the offense. And with the Lakers, even if they get through the West, I mean, if they got to play the Nets and Harden, Kyrie and KD are clicking on all cylinders, man. That's a tough juggernaut to get through. And I actually have a not a surprise or a sleeper pick out of the East, but I have another team that I'm thinking about that nobody's they're kind of like under the radar. We'll get to that later, but
if you say this one team, I'm signing off.
Nah, you don't know.
Bro, if you say this one team,
Nah, don't.
I'm out.
It's not who you think. But no, I think the Lakers are going to have a really tough time, and who knows what's going to happen next year? We don't know the rosters, like who's going to be on what team. But I think this year is going to be a really, really tough task. And if LeBron is able to get through a healthy Nets team, definitely adds to his legacy as far as like the greatest of all time talk. But yeah, we'll see. I don't think they're going to go back to back, and I'm like 50-50 at best that they're even going to win it this year. But yeah, Stealth. Thank you for paying Comcast real quick. Coming
Yeah,
back.
man. Yeah, man. Comcast try to disrespect me. They have me on that. They be having me on like that Xfinity Wi-Fi. Like I ain't home. Like
Yeah,
like,
nah. Tahib's taking the shot was he thinks the Lakers are gonna not only win it this year but win it again next year in pretty much
oh,
three-peat.
no, they're not. They're not. Listen, LeBron James, he's already put in the excuse mode of, oh man, we got these playing games. Like he's already fired up the excuse train.
Yeah, I heard him say that, but I think this is going to piss him off, and he's going to be a beast.
Nah, I think they're a little too. I think they're going to be involved in that playing game situation, and I just think they just haven't played together enough. I think it's just going to be too much. Like I don't think AD can get through a playoff healthy. Like I just don't see. They just don't look like they can survive a playoff run, especially with if you talk about extending it where they got to play a playing game.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, then you got to face a number 1 or a number 2 seed, and then get all the way there to probably face the Nets. Like that, that's a lot. So I just don't think they'll stay healthy enough to make it through the playoffs. But I think next year you could see them like come back fully healthy, get a little break, not have such because I think they get eliminated and then they don't have such as long of a season as they just had as far as the bubble, then going right back to it. So I can see next year.
Yeah. So real quick, currently constructed the four teams that will be in the play-in right now is Portland, Memphis, Golden State, San Antonio. Portland is a half game behind the Lakers for that 6 seed, and 7 through 10. Those are the teams that are playing the tournament. Now, Portland and the Lakers play, I think tomorrow, or they play Friday actually. So
Tomorrow.
yeah, well, by the time people hear this, it'll be
today. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Today. So that's an interesting game. The Lakers actually do play the Clippers like this evening, so they got a tough schedule ahead. And with LeBron out, it's going to be problematic. Now, I think in the play-in, like if they play Memphis, no worries, whatever. The one team that you got to fear in this play-in is Golden State, because if Steph could go off and hit 11 threes in a game, which he's very capable of doing, and you're out. Like that could be a major problem. So definitely something to keep an eye on. I know a lot of talk has been like this tournament is corny or whatever. I think it's great. Unless the Knicks end up there, then it's bad. But I like it, man. Teams are not tanking, and they're every game is important down this stretch. So I think it's good. But all right, moving on. Snell, you started your taking a shot. So can we revisit it, sir?
Yeah. So my taking the shot is I believe the curse of the number 2 pick will show its head again, especially with it being a quarterback. And I think this Zach Wilson is going to give us one good year, and from there it will be all terrible. Just like every number 2 pick that's come before him at quarterback, pretty much in the past decade. So you have Mitch. You got Mitsubishi Mitch, you got Carson Wentz, and then you got RG3. Those are the number 2 picks at quarterbacks in the past decade. They all gave us the same product, pretty much. A decent first year, and after that, the show's over. So I think we're going to get the same thing from Zach Wilson, where he gives a semi-productive first year. People think he's not a piece of garbage, and then he stinks it up for the remainder of his contract. That's how I see it going.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Jets at all. Like, it seems like the coach that they picked up is good. The GM seems like he made a couple nice moves to solidify like that offense, and The offensive line picked up a nice receiver.
I'm sorry, I missed one. Marcus Mariota is another number 2 quarterback.
Yeah, so I think the Jets GM is making some nice moves. I like the coach that they picked up. I don't think it's going to be the same old Jets, but I don't know, man. This Zach Wilson, I'm not fully sold. I just got to see it. Like, him playing at BYU, the competition is a little less. He kind of just bursted onto the scenes like this past year, and like rose up in the draft. So the book is out. We gotta see it. I'm not going to say he's going to be horrible. I'm not going to say he's going to be great. I'm just going to say I don't know. And we're going to have to wait and see. Taim, your thoughts?
Man, I don't know. For some reason, I trust in Wilson. I feel like he's going to be a serviceable quarterback. I feel like they're going to get the job done. I think they drained all the water out of the swamp, as some would say, out there in New York. They got rid of that coaching staff. They got some really good coaches there now. I think they got a lot of weapons around the number 2 pick. So I think it's going to be pretty good. And it's tough to say though, because you say Mo is giving him that 1 year, right?
Yeah, I give you. Listen,
he's giving him 1 year.
I give you the one. I'm giving you one good year. It's just the legacy is too much. I can't. I see a concerning pattern.
Yeah. So now we got
RG3, Mariota, Wentz, Trubisky.
It's not good.
Those are some bad picks. I mean, but Shanahan he rode RG3 into the ground. Wentz that court, I think they just got tired of each other. And then Mariota, he just stunk it up, I think, right?
Yeah,
Mariota had a decent rookie year. Decent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He had a rookie, good, decent, but then after that, he just stunk it up. Like he just hit that ceiling.
Yeah, Mariota and Mitch literally had the same exact thing happen. Like, you decent, but can't make the throws. But both of their team were super talented. I think the Bears have a good roster. Titans have a good roster. It's just that they couldn't throw. And as soon as they brought in, Titans brought in Tannehill, they skyrocketed. And we'll see what happens with the Bears bringing in Justin Fields. But it's just they were literally the same player. Like, they cannot throw the football. They can run, but they're quarterbacks, so you got to do more. All right, round of applause for our Taking a Shot segment. All right, moving into these topics, we had a nice NFL draft last week. All of our teams made their selections, and we're going to recap them. And up first, 49ers got a new quarterback. Taheem, the floor is yours. Talk to us.
As long as we didn't take Mac Jones, I was happy with whatever they did. And they didn't take Mac Jones at 3, so I'm happy with that. We got Trey, which is, out of all the cornerbacks that were left, I mean, we got what we got. As long as we didn't get Mac, I'm fine. The only thing I don't like is we picked up 2 running backs in the draft. We're already running back heavy. Like, what are we doing? You can't give the ball to 15 people at once on one down. It doesn't work like that. So I just wish we would have did something different.
Okay, that's all. That's the evaluation.
I mean, that's all I got. We got to see.
Joins us now, Matt.
When the year starts up to see if this is going to work out. The Trey Lance move. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with him and Jimmy G on a roster at the same time. I've heard some things where they're going to just ride out with Jimmy G and keep Trey there so he can learn, because he only started 1 year there. What is it? Is it D2? Not D2. It was like AAA, some shit like that. Yeah. So, I mean, but the thing I don't like is you give away all your draft picks for the next 5 years to get a guy at 3 to sit him for 2 years. That shit don't make sense. You know what I mean? It don't make sense, but they're not paying me to be the GM or coach, so.
Yeah, you get your quarterback, and then you plug in the holes, and I guess you got to say that you did well because you got a quarterback, but you got to he's a quarterback that's going to sit for at least a year, so it's kind of like, all right,
unless Jimmy goes out there and get hurt first game,
which is
very possible.
Very possible he can get hurt at any moment, but I don't know. So, any thoughts on the 49ers draft?
Yeah, well, I kind of knew they were going to take Trey Lance just because just because it was the only logical decision to make. But a part of it is I understand taking him at, you take him at 3 because also there's really not a huge, I'm not going to see, who knows what, there's always going to be a quarterback that comes up in college, but there's really not any like huge names that are coming out or even in college really. So if you start looking at the next 2 years of the draft, there isn't like, oh, we got Trevor Lawrence as a freshman. Like nobody with that type of hype is there. I don't believe. So I guess I can understand it from that point. But yeah, it is tough to draft a guy like, we're getting the guy that's 2 years away from possibly being a year away. Like that's a tough sell. But at least they got the youngest of the quarterbacks. So I think that was wise. But as a fan, I can see how that's a frustrating move. But I thought they did well all in all.
All right, moving on. My Cowboys. We took Micah Parsons in the first round. I wanted a corner, but they went right before us, so we traded back. Selected Micah Parsons, who is currently the Vegas favorite to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. So I was very pleased with that, and I was also very pleased that the next 5 picks were also on the defensive side of the ball. I guess somebody got to Jerry was saying, "Man, did you look at the film from last year? We couldn't stop a bar stool. So let's address this defense." And the first 6 picks, defensive players, couple linebackers, couple corners, some defensive line guys. So, of course, like when you draft players, not all of them are going to hit. So, we're going to have a few misses here and there, but hopefully, like the defense is a lot better than last year to go along with that offense. Our offense is fine. The defense was a major issue last year, so hopefully these draft picks can help solidify that defense. We can play better football. But all in all, I was pleased with the draft. Some of the picks were a bit of a reach, but Micah Parsons, he should be the tone setter for the team for many years to come. Bringing in Dan Quinn is going to change the entire defensive philosophy. So we'll see what happens. But I was very pleased with the draft, and we'll see what happens. Snell, any thoughts?
Yeah, listen, man. One, like I always tell you Cowboys fans before you're ready to jump off the bridge, is that the Cowboys don't really draft awful. So that's one thing you don't have to worry about. And then, I was just shocked that they went with that much defense just with Jerry being there. But
yeah,
you got Dan Quinn. Like Dan Quinn he's proved his track record is proven as far as defense is concerned. It's just that with the Falcons, their strength and condition coordinator was just terrible and they couldn't stay healthy. But the defense, it always was. They always played well. It was just a matter of, guys getting hurt. So if he comes in and says, "This is what I need," you just get the man what he needs. So, and if not, you get fired. That's how Jerry operates. So, but no, man, I thought the Cowboys did well. They got Micah Parsons, who is like he's damn near running back. Got running back speed at linebacker. So
yeah, it was pretty amazing. For a 4-3 at linebacker, you just don't really see that anywhere. So hopefully he runs fast to the ball and not just running fast for no reason. So we'll see. Saeem, any thoughts?
I'm definitely surprised the Cowboys did so good. For them to go so much defense, you're right. Like somebody got to Jerry and told him, "Hey, calm down and let us just draft. You just sit in your coffin and wait for your time." But yeah, I mean, the Cowboys did a real good job.
All right, moving on. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Super Bowl champions. Snell, what are your analysis on the draft, sir?
I wasn't pleased. I wasn't too happy with it.
Get out of here.
You know what I mean? It's not my call. Listen, man, y'all won the Super Bowl. Y'all do what y'all want. I mean, they went and got Kyle Trask. I guess that was kind of our big, our big pick. I guess getting Kyle Trask, and it's like, listen, man, I'm hoping Tom Brady got another 4 or 5 years. This is I could care less. I can care less about this Kyle Trask. That's kind of how I look at it. But yeah, man, it's really hard when you. I was hoping that we kind of didn't sign AB back so we can get like a young receiver. That was kind of the only thing I really wanted, and we got him back. So it's just like, all right, man, just get with y'all whatever y'all see necessary. Like I don't really know. Of course, you know my complaints are always with the secondary. So I would have liked to see us get maybe get some secondary help a little bit sooner. But listen, man, when they win the Super Bowl, I don't complain, man. Do whatever y'all see fit.
Yeah, I agree. Like the Bucks, like their roster is just strong. Bring all your players back. Try to repeat, as you said. Maybe get younger, get a younger receiver, or improve the secondary. But I mean, you guys are set, man. Like you guys really didn't have to do anything too drastic. You really didn't have anything to address.
Yeah.
So nah, you guys did fine. Tayyim, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think they did. I think they did fine, man. I think they, in their eyes, they drafted Tom Brady's successor in Kyle Trask. And then you guys did wind up getting a corner, right?
Yeah, we ended up getting a corner, but
Yeah.
listen, man, he may not make the roster. Like we didn't lose anybody, so it's just like we
Yeah.
we got a corner in the 7th round. Like
Oh,
listen,
far back, I didn't know.
yeah, like listen, we got practice squad spots available. Like like that's where
Yeah.
that's where it kind of is. So it's just like we not losing anybody is just strange. Like usually after the Super Bowl, somebody leaves and goes and gets paid. So it's like, all right, we need a DN. Like we need something. We need a lineman. We need something. It's just like, nah, they're all back.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Like we got no empty spots for
yeah,
anybody.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Everybody come in here and hold a clipboard and take notes. Like that's pretty much where we're at this draft. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, moving on. Some of the winners and losers of the draft. So, in my opinion, talked about them earlier. I thought the Jets did a really good job in this draft. Like they got a new quarterback, got an offensive lineman, got a speedy receiver, all within the top 45, 50 other picks. And with a new head coach and a fairly new GM, that's a great start. So I thought the Jets did well. Also thought the Chargers did a bit well, being able to get Slater as the offensive tackle to protect Herbert. So those would be my two winners. Losers, as we mentioned, the Raiders just have no idea what they're doing. I also thought the Steelers had a bewildering draft. I know they got Najee Harris in the first round, but after that, just wasn't sure what the game plan was. Like they picked a tight end in the second round, offensive line, defensive line, linebacker. They was just all over the field. Ben Roethlisberger, he's at home eating cheeseburgers, drinking beer. Like you need to draft his successor. So I was a bit
yeah,
surprised that they didn't think about a quarterback earlier. But yeah, I thought the two winners were the Jets and the Chargers. The two losers were the Raiders and the Steelers. Tahim, what were your winners and losers?
Man, my losers is the Raiders, 100%. I don't think the Broncos did that great. The only thing that saved them is they got Patrick Surtain, but outside of that, it's kind of like, yo, y'all need a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they was gearing up to maybe get that Aaron Rodgers later on, but if they didn't get a quarterback, to me, I mean, they got a D. I don't give a fuck who they picked. If it wasn't a quarterback that first pick, they got a D. Who else did? So I think the Jets did good. I mean the Jaguars, they did good too because they had so many picks. I think teams with multiple picks, I think they all did pretty well for themselves. I do have to give it up for the Cowboys because they did really well, and then they played the field because they moved back one spot.
Yeah, they moved
Uh,
they moved back with the Eagles 2 spots and picked up a extra third.
yeah, and they got who they wanted at that point anyway. You know what I mean? I don't think they took their eyes off Michael Parsons through those 2 picks. So um, I think they did good. Mm, yeah, and I mean, then Houston sucks because they had like one draft pick out of 7 rounds or something like that.
Yeah,
So
they took a quarterback early, so that's kind of revealing for Deshaun Watson and his future with the Texans. But
he might
every
Deshaun Watson might be in jail.
Yeah, there's I don't even know.
That's sexual assault.
Yeah, he might not play at all next season. So the thing is like it's already May and like training camp and stuff is going to be starting in like 2
A month?
months.
Oh, 2 months.
Yeah, so it's getting close. So I don't know, man. But Snell, you're winners and losers of the draft.
My winners, yeah, I think the win. I think a lot of the I think I like what the Cowboys and the Giants did with moving back, getting those extra picks, still getting a quality guy. I think I think the Jags. I think they pretty when you 1-15, you need some of everything. So I think I think they did a real good job. I think getting even though they had what's his name Robinson had a good year, but still get another back because
Yeah,
we stink. We were 1-15. Like I don't care if he had a 3,000-yard season. Like we were 1-15. Like we need players. Like so. I thought the Jags did really well. I think it's unanimous. The loser is the Raiders. I mean,
I feel like I feel like maybe somebody fucked up and
yeah,
they handed in the wrong card twice or something like that because you got two safeties. Like how?
Like I think Alex because they got Alex Leatherwood. That's already that was already like kind of just a reach in general. Like that's just somebody you probably don't need to take in that spot. Then I think then they have like 2 picks back to back, and they took 2 linebackers like back to back. They just did some. They were just doing it was just a lot going on with them. They were so this is my only thing that I was saying that may save them. I said they were drafting as if they already have the trade set up for Aaron Rodgers. Like they're drafting like, hey, we know we're getting rid of Abrams, so let's get 2 safeties right now because we know we got to give him. Like that's the
they did cut they cut Jeff Heath as well, safety.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was the only thing I could say. I was like, they're drafting like they're drafting for somebody else. Like like the Packers were like, yeah, we need Leatherwood to make this trade go through. So they were like, all right, let's get him first and foremost. Like so that's the only thing I could say. But just as of right now, yeah, that grades a nice D. Like only and the only reason not an F because all these people could pass a physical. Like besides that, it doesn't make any sense. But
So
and also the Seahawks. The Seahawks.
Yeah, they only had 3 picks.
They only had 3 picks, and like how Russell was talking, y'all need to make some wholesale changes. Yeah, y'all need to make some wholesale changes, and y'all only got 3 picks. Like that's not a good mixture.
That's not enough.
Yeah, I mean, that Jamal Adams trade gutted their picks and But real quick, going back to the Raiders, by mistake they did draft 3 safeties. So they took one one in the second round, another in the third, and one in the fourth. So
what they gonna do? Offer the Packers 4 safeties?
That's what I'm
the
saying.
Packers gonna say, "Yo, we need a couple first rounders and 1 player." They're gonna be like, "Well, we got 4 safeties for you."
Yeah. Like
the Raiders got to be the stupidest fucking team on the planet.
Yeah, but all right, moving on. That's right. Well, first of all, round of applause for the draft. Round of applause. But right before the draft kicked off, the Aaron Rodgers news surfaced, and apparently he wants out of Green Bay, and in my opinion, I just really don't know what's going on behind the scenes because, like, if he goes to Denver, if he goes to the Raiders, or another team that I did hear was the Giants, whatever, they're going to have to give up players and picks to the point where he would be better off staying in Green Bay if the goal is a championship. Like if you go to Denver, they're going to ask for like, okay, well, we want Surtain, we want Bradley Chubb, and we want 2 first-round picks or something along those lines. Or if you go to the Raiders, they're going to be like, we want, a couple defenders.
We want all your safeties.
We want all 3 safeties. We want 2 first-round picks. So you're gutting the roster, and it's not the same like when Brett Favre went to Denver because not Brett Favre, Peyton
Peyton
Manning
Manning.
went to Denver because he was a free agent. He was free, like so you don't have to give anything up. But with this trade, you're going to have to give up so much just to get him. You're going to gut your roster, and if the goal is a championship, like I said, you might as well just stay. So that part I don't understand, and I don't know, man. This Rogers, his own family don't like him, so he's just a weird dude to begin with. He's hosting Jeopardy in the off season. Um, you know, he was he has a new fiance, and she's like an actor or a model or whatever. So he's just out there, and he got all these commercials. And the thing is, like, he is so gifted as a quarterback. He could do all of these things and still play lights out. He's the current MVP. But I just don't understand. Like, is it Jordan Love? Like, I do get like you would be pissed off about them drafting Jordan Love and you just go out and win the MVP. Like, this was a wasted pick. Um, but if you think about the Packers side, if you are confident in Jordan Love, then if Aaron Rodgers is pissed off, you wouldn't really have any hesitancy to trade him, which lets me know that Jordan Love ain't it. But we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, man. At the end of the day, it appears that Aaron Rodgers is done in Green Bay. Uh, Denver's the current favorite. If he goes there, you're gonna have to deal with Patrick Mahomes twice. Good luck with that. Up and coming Justin Herbert twice. Good luck with that. They're going to be a wild card team, and it's hard to be a wild card team and go to the Super Bowl. I mean, unless you're the Bucks. But yeah, I don't understand it. Why would you want to get traded to a team that has Patrick Mahomes in it? Like that doesn't make sense to me. But we'll see, man. Aaron Rodgers is a different dude, supremely gifted, but when it comes to legacy, he only has one championship, and if you want to be labeled as the greatest of all time, you need at least one more. So those are my thoughts.
He's gonna need at least 3 more.
Yeah, I mean Brady got 7. That's
Yeah,
just
I don't think to pass Brady at this point. He needs to win about four in a row.
yeah.
Yeah,
He needs to
he needs to win
something.
more.
Yeah, but even like for him to be like up there with like Peyton or Young or like Aikman
or Montana.
He
Montana,
needs to,
he got to get at least 2 more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you're going to go to a division with Patrick Mahomes, like
Yeah, Patrick be beating your ass every year.
yeah, like good luck, my brother. But tell you, what are your thoughts on the Packers and Aaron Rodgers' marriage?
This shit is over because Aaron said it's either me or the GM, right? So that's a big thing for you to tell the organization, hey, you got to fire the GM if you want me to come back. But yes, it's just a lot of behind the scenes stuff that's going on. I think that we're not privy to. I think the Jordan Love thing hurt him, and then there's other things when we talk about the draft that hurt him too, because I think for the longest time, Aaron is saying he just needs weapons, right? He just needs offensive weapons, to get the ball to, and they'll be good. But it seems like they always combat him, like so they go out and they trade up to get, Jordan Love. Like I understand that what Green Bay was probably thinking. They were thinking, hey, Aaron is probably getting to the later years in his career, and we want to get somebody that can sit behind him for 2 or 3 years, that can learn. So when Aaron is ready to go, we got somebody, boom, we can insert him. We're not playing this bridge quarterback thing. We're not playing this rebuild thing. But what you do is you take away from Aaron because you take that pick of potentially getting him a weapon now to secure your future. So I think they're just at odds right now. It's just Aaron against them and them against Aaron. I think that a lot of the players and like the coaching staff understand, like if you lose Aaron Rodgers, you guys are going to be trash for a long time. Yeah. You guys are going to waste a lot of years on Adams, and you're going to Devontae Adams. Then you're going to also waste years on those running backs that you got, because the running backs are good, but it really doesn't work without Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? Having Aaron Rodgers back there is you can't focus on the running backs, but if you put Love back there, you can focus on those running backs and pretty much take them out of the game. So it's just a marriage that's on fire. Like you said, Aaron Rodgers' home family don't like him, so I can probably people in that building that fucking hate his guts, And then Brett Favre say something about him, like no, not Brett Favre.
Terry
Bradshaw
Bradshaw.
whole ass. And I actually think he's a racist. But anyway, he said he called him a baby or some shit like that, right?
Yeah, but you can't trust Terry. I saw him on video, him sharing a spoon with his dog. So you can't really just trust him doing that. So go ahead,
bro. Fuck are you doing? Like the dog licks his ass, and you go eat off the same spoon as him.
Hey man, on
So
camera.
that shows you how much brain power he has.
Yeah, but all right, Snell, your thoughts on the Packers and Green and
Listen,
Aaron
man,
Rodgers.
just get him to the all I ask, my only request is ship that man off to the AFC. I don't really ask for too much more than that, but please try to get him to the AFC. But I understand what you're saying, Shiz, about you're gutting your team, but if we got to build from scratch, it's much easier to build with him than any other option. So you give up whatever you got to get him. I think so my thing is this, right? You get to the NFC Championship game and you don't get him a weapon. Then you get back to the NFC Championship game and your first round pick isn't in uniform. Like that's the thing. I think that's the thing about Jordan Love that makes it like even worse. It's one thing of like, hey, we got a guy that's the quarterback of the future and he's just going to be your backup. Jordan Love wasn't even he was like the practice squad quarterback.
Yeah.
So it's like there isn't another route we could have went besides this guy to get us. And it's not like it's not like your quarterback's done. So it's just that's just a weird thing to do. And I can understand that frustration of like, hey, instead of getting me maybe a quality receiver, I'm trying to get the maximum output out of like Valdez Scantling. Like that, you know what I mean? Like that's frustrating. Like that's frustrating. You know what I mean? Like because you have a situation where Valdez Scantling is he's not even that bad. But you had that situation where, okay, Devontae Adams is down for a couple weeks. Now you got Valdez Scantling is like your number one. Like that's when the issue comes up.
That's when it's bad.
Yeah, that's when it gets bad. And it's like, yo, we got to try to hold this thing together till Devontae gets back fully healthy. So when you do stuff like that and you just don't have guys available and you get that close and you lose, it's gotta be sickening. And your coach makes a bonehead decision to kick it. Like that's gotta drive you wild, especially for somebody that's a competitor like him. And it's probably also an asshole to an extent of I'm trying to win. We kicking field goals and y'all drafting quarterbacks that can't play. Like he's probably going nuts. You know what I mean? Like you said, like his own family don't like him. So imagine having to deal with him after a loss like that.
Yo, he probably be in the locker room saying bad wild shit to people. Yo.
And nobody say nothing. Just like
I wonder. Like I thought about, has there ever been a quarterback drafted in the first round have another quarterback on his team win the MVP? Like Jordan Love was drafted in the first round, and then his teammate wins the MVP at quarterback. I thought
maybe about that. I don't think Garoppolo was the first round.
No, Garoppolo was like sixth because he didn't go to a D1 school.
Yeah, Jimmy G was late.
Yeah. So
you're right. It's wild because usually if you're a quarterback picked in the first round, it's because the quarterback is trash or they don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
So you either start or you're just waiting for that dude to fall off a cliff, which is going to be by week 3.
The only person that's even close is might be Aaron Rodgers, like getting drafted in the first round, and they still have Brett Favre. He may be the close. That may be it.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't think he won. He definitely won
MVP. But he probably
he sat for 4 years, right?
I think 3 years. 3 years.
I mean, you might have. I don't know how many Brett Favre won MVPs, but I mean, it's possible he could have won one. But yeah, he's probably the closest.
Like to even being like I don't even know if there's got to be rare occurrence of just like all pro, like that's got to be a rarity. You know what I mean? Like
Well, I mean, I think the closest you had was probably when you had Steve Young and Joe Montana on the same roster.
Possibly.
He wasn't. But they
He
didn't.
was
They
traded.
didn't draft Steve Young.
Steve Young, yeah.
They got him from the Bay, but still, like you still had you basically had two Hall of Fame quarterbacks on the roster at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a question that came to my mind. I was like, has there ever been a quarterback drafted in the first round to have a quarterback on his team win MVP? Like, I just don't.
That's got to be a first, yeah.
And he probably went out there and won that shit just to spite them, like it was kind of
Yeah,
fuel for him. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. It definitely fueled him.
Yeah.
And, instead of giving him, they traded up. They could have traded up and got like Justin Jefferson. Imagine him and Devontae Adams. Like, that'd have been amazing.
That or you say, like, who they have at corner. Like, just think about your number one pick. Like, your number one pick's Jordan Love, and then like whoever they had at corner, was it King that gets beat by like Scotty Miller?
Yeah,
like
you know what I mean? That last play out there, right?
Yeah,
before the half.
Like you got to go just look the GM in the face, like no words, like, so we couldn't use any secondary help, is what you're telling me.
And that's what on a quarterback that ain't even dressed, like,
and that's what I think they picked first. Well, their first pick of the first round was a corner. They took, I think, right?
This year was.
I think so. Yeah,
I think it was a corner.
Yeah. But we'll see, man. I know June 1st is like the a date that everybody's paying attention to, because I think if he gets traded after that date, the cap hit for the Packers is much less than what it is now. So that's going to be the time when he gets traded. Some people are like, I know Mark Schlereth, who works for Fox Sports. He's like a Denver guy, like a Denver legend. He thinks that the deal's done. They just waiting to announce it.
Positive thinking.
Yeah, he thinks like he
I think
has
Aaron,
I think he has like an insider.
I don't think Aaron will want to go there, because you got to play in that the fucking thin air up there,
mile high. Yeah, but that might be great for him.
He might get throwing a ball. He might get throwing 100 yards in that thin air.
Yeah, so
launch it.
Yeah, that is going to be really interesting. But all right, round of applause for football. All right, moving on, the NBA. We're getting ready to wrap up the regular season. Teams have like 7-8 games left. Top teams in the East are the Nets, 76ers, Milwaukee Bucks. West is kind of interchangeable. You have the Suns, the Jazz, Clippers, Nuggets. So, yeah, coming down the stretch. Lakers got a lot of work to do. They're battling a lot of injuries. LeBron is out. Schroeder's in health and safety protocol, so he's going to be out for like another 10 days. Anthony Davis is just getting back in the rhythm, so he's got to work out the kinks. I think the playoffs are going to be really interesting, and kind of going back to when we was talking about basketball earlier, the team in the East that I'm kind of got my eye on a little bit. They're under the radar, but not really, but everybody just like kind of disregarded the Milwaukee Bucks. And I know that their history shows that they can't get it done in the playoffs, but it took Jordan like 7 years to win his first NBA Finals. It took LeBron a long time as well. Giannis is only 26 years old, so he's still coming in the age for himself, and them adding Drew Holiday should help them a lot. I just think that when it comes to the Eastern Conference Finals, I would, if I had to guess, I think it would be the Nets versus the Bucks as opposed to Nets versus the 76ers. I'm not sold on the 76ers, like when it comes to crunch time. They did battle against the Raptors a couple years ago when the Raptors went on their finals run, but I just think that if you punch the Sixers in the mouth, they kind of fold a little bit. And I think the Bucks, they have a chip on their shoulder this year, and they're under the radar, which is a good thing. There's like not that much pressure. I think the Bucks have enough to at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And one thing with the Nets, they struggle with size. And if Giannis can start going off like he did these past couple games against the Nets, I know they were missing Harden, they might have a shot. But the heavy favorite out of the East is definitely the Nets. But I would not just discount the Bucks because they added Drew Holiday, added PJ Tucker, and they might be due. But we'll see. West is going to be a crapshoot. Lakers are the favorite, but they got to get through their injuries first before I can like fully like count on them. And if it's not the Lakers, then I would take the Clippers. But you know, pandemic P might show back up, and it could be a wrap for that. So I'm just looking forward to the playoffs. Hopefully, my Knicks don't have to get in that play-in tournament. We could just get a seed and rest. But who knows, man? We got smoked by the Denver Nuggets, and we got the Clippers coming up. We got the Suns coming up, and it's just not good. So those are my thoughts on the NBA. Snow, I'll hand it off to you.
Yeah, I agree. Like, if you ask me today, who I think the finals are going to be, as much as I think it's just going to be the Lakers versus the Nets. I think this is like a good shot to see like something off market or like two teams that we haven't seen before in the finals. So I think the Bucks have a really good shot. Like you said, some of that pressure's off of them, and then the Sixers, they're just the Sixers, and they just seem to fall apart all the time. And also, they kind of would have that target on their back of they're being the number one seed if things, held up the way they are right now. And then, yeah, I just don't think that I just don't think the Lakers have played enough together this year. And I think that Rondo, man, I think Rondo's enough to just teach, listen, pandemic playoff P, give me the ball and just keep, just worry about defense. Let me run the offense. Like, I think that's where they kind of fell apart last year, where it was like, all right, Kawhi needs a break. Let's go to this playoff P, and he's 0 for 13. Like, that's not what you need. So I think now with Rondo when it's time for real basketball, like that Rondo get it done. So I think Rondo Mike can figure out a way to get these Clippers to the final. We get a little Clippers, a little off market, off franchise NBA finals of Clippers Bucks in the finals.
Yeah, Adam Silver would not be pleased with that. But
listen, man, they love the NBA loves parity, man. They love it, so they won't mind. They'll be all right.
Yeah. All right. I got your hat. What are your what are your NBA analysis as we head down the stretch?
So, coming out easy, I definitely think it's going to be the Nets. I just don't think anybody else has enough firepower. I think the Bucks. I think there'll be a different look for them going against the Nets in the playoffs, because they'll have. I think the Bucks will be more focused, and they'll have the point guard. I can't think of his name right now. They just picked him up this year. They got rid of Bledsoe. Yeah, Holiday.
Yeah.
I think that'll be something that the Nets have to watch out for. But I still think the Nets are going to edge them out. And I don't know why I forgot about the Clippers and Pepperoni P. But yeah, I think they have a great shot, because, like you said, Lakers have to deal with those health issues, and they got to play that play-in game, right? Mm-hmm. So they're going to have to. It's going to be a lot of wear and tear on that team, and then AD, he has injury problems. They got Drummond, but he's just basically there for defense. You know what I mean? He's not going to give you, that much offense. And I think Mo is right. When you take the ball out of Panda Express P's hand, and then you just have Rondo on the ball, it lets Pepperoni P just focus on the defensive side of the ball. When you let Rondo just run the offense. And I think Rondo is that difference maker. Like, he just goes to teams and he just solidifies that point guard position, and he's literally the coach out there on the court and just runs the offense. Like, and a lot of teams that have no issues when he's out there. Like, because even when he was with the Pelicans, didn't he have a game of like 30 assists or something like that?
Yes. He had a high number. I don't know if it was 30, but definitely mid-20s for sure.
It was something wow. And you thought, one game you had that many assists. Like, he just finds people, and he's just a manipulator of a defense. So I mean,
So what are your thoughts on the Phoenix Suns? Do you think they can win a round or two, or you think this?
I think they can definitely. I definitely think they can win a round. Come on! Fuck that.
I think we went over this last week.
Yeah,
you did. You said that.
This is similar.
One and done.
This is similar to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't care who they play. I don't care where they play. They're out. That's it. Simple and plain. That's how it goes. I
I mean,
don't
yes,
know
we
how to
got to
say.
see. Yes, we got to see who they're matched up against. But I think if
No.
the matchup is favorable, they can catch you. And they like if they're matched up against Golden State, I think
Nope.
they can beat
Yeah.
Golden State.
They'll be out. They could be met. Listen, if that I'm telling you, outside of that first round matchup being like, y'all gotta play
the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah,
No, I think the Grizzlies might beat them.
I think
no.
Unless
I think they could.
and like it would literally take for me to say that the Suns are getting out. It would be like, listen, all these other teams have been COVID stricken. The Rockets are in. Like that's your first round matchup. Like that's what it would take. But outside of that, they can't.
Isn't Boogie still out there? And people are trying to sign him or whatever.
Nah, he's on the Clippers.
He's on the Clippers.
Oh, so there you go. So Boogie's not even out there. Yeah.
Here's the thing about
it's just one of those things, man. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, yo, y'all out.
Here's a philosophy I heard about the Suns that you might be able to make a bet on and win. So Chris Paul's having a great season, MVP candidate. I don't think he's going to be able to win it because I think the Joker probably already has it in the bag. So what you can bet is that Monty Williams to win Coach of the Year because the Phoenix Suns having such a great year, they got to give him at least one award. So if they don't give Chris Paul the MVP, Monty Williams will probably get that Coach of the Year. You can probably get that bet right now at like plus 120 or something like that. So if you want to make some money, bet that, and if you win, I want my 10%. Thank you.
I mean, that's a tough one.
Because it's going to be. I know it's going to be Monty Williams, Snyder from the Jazz. Maybe Thibodeau might be in there as well.
Stop.
He got it.
He got to be. Yo, to go from. To be fourth in the East with the New York Knicks roster is like an amazing coaching job. So he might get a look. But I would definitely bet Monty Williams because they got to give that Suns team at least one award this year.
I think they're gonna give it. Yeah, I think they're gonna give it to whoever finishes. I think Snyder or whoever finishes first. I think they get it. Like that's what I think.
Yeah, the thing is because the Jazz were in the playoffs last year. The Suns just make such a leap.
Yeah,
I think they might give it to Monty. Black coach. Black Lives Matters, like it just looks good. Like it looks good. So
100% thought you were about to say Black Rob. I was about to say what?
No, but yeah, bet that Monty Williams. I think I'm gonna do that actually. So all right. Anything else left in basketball? Saw Kyrie Irving get fined because he doesn't like talking to the media.
There you go.
I think y'all gotta not y'all, but the media has to let Kyrie, this young black man, figure out who he is, a black man. Like, let him live. Like, I think he's just going through a transitional period right now. Like, he has all this money. He sees all these things going on around him, all these things going on in the black community. Yo, he's trying to figure out, how he can help because he burns like stage on the court for the positive vibes. I think he was on the court praying before game 2. Like,
I think he's doing like the fasting.
Yeah, like I think people gotta, in lack of better terms, like just chill. Like let him be him. You know what I'm saying? Like let him do not whatever he wants to, but let him do all the positive things he wants to as a black man. Because I think because there are Caucasian athletes that got wild ass tendencies that they don't say shit about.
It's just
like just let him live.
Kyrie's a marquee player. The media wants to talk to him. So if you don't talk to him, they get fined. That's really all it is.
Yeah, I'm not talking about just defining because I don't agree with that, but I understand it. Like, isn't that part of the TV deal for these teams? Like they have to produce players to talk to the media. So that part I understand, but I just think he gets a lot of slack. Not a lot of slack, but he gets a lot of shit for the stuff he does. You know what I'm saying? People are just like, it's his head in the game. Like when you think about it, like as a young black man, from New Jersey, like how can your head be 100% in the game when you take a step back and look at the world as a whole and you see how like black people are being treated? Like if your head is 100% in the game, then you're a heartless son of a bitch.
Nah, Kyrie's a little. You can be engaged in like social politics and
Mhm.
but Kyrie's a little off. Like Earth is flat off. Like he said some crazy things before.
I mean,
So
it's listen, it's little scientists that think the Earth is flat too, but you know,
Listen, man, I don't know.
we're not trolling him on Instagram.
I mean, it's that Duke education, man. That's all it is.
No, man. He signed up for it, man. He knows what comes. Listen, man, if he ain't want to speak, go to Marshawn Lynch route. You ain't got to answer the question. Just say I'm just here so I don't get fined, and be on your way out. They'll stop asking questions after a while. So he'll be all right, man. You got millions of dollars, man. He'll figure it out, man. You'll figure out that media situation. He'll get it right.
All right, so round of applause for basketball. All right, moving on. Boxing. We have a mega fight coming up with Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul, Jake Paul. One of them Pauls.
One of them Paul boys.
One of those Logans or whoever they are. Floyd was saying that he's getting $100 million for this fight.
Don't doubt it.
If that's true, this might be the easiest $100 million somebody's ever made, other than like the stock market. Like just
I need to see that.
crazy one day.
No, I think the stock market would be even harder to get it than Floyd beating his kid's ass. But I need to see the paperwork. I need to see the paperwork of this being $100 million, because he might be exaggerating now to get it to $100 million.
Yeah. Either way, this is free money for Floyd because this Logan brother, he's not going to be able to touch him. Like Floyd at an advanced age, he's lost a step, but he's still going to be way faster than anything this Paul brother has ever seen in a boxing ring. And, Floyd might play around to give him a show, kind of similar to what he did with McGregor. But yeah, man, there's no way that this Logan Paul, Jake, whatever his name is, can beat Floyd. And he's so trash that he's actually made Floyd like he's the good guy in this fight. Like the other guys, he's the villain, and you have a situation where people are rooting for Floyd. Like, man, this is a disaster. Floyd's going to destroy this dude. Hopefully, it's a knockout, so these people can stop messing around with the sport of boxing. But yeah, man, this is crazy. But one thing that is funny, Ocho Cinco all of a sudden is on the undercard of this fight. I'm not sure who he's fighting, but this is a spectacle. It's going to be on a Sunday. Like everything is just off about this fight. But yeah. Well, what are your deep analysis on this boxing matchup? I got your hat.
I just want to give a round of applause to you because this is all your fault. You and Charles is like okay in this midget fighting a couple weeks ago, and this is what comes of that. Boxing is taking real professional boxing is taking a hit because people like Shiz and Charles want to see midget fights. And now you get these one-off wild ass fights of Money Mayweather versus Jake Floyd, Jake Paul, whatever the fuck this kid's name is, a YouTube guy. And then under that, you got Ocho Cinco. Like, people are willing to pay to see like uninteresting boxing matches instead of watching the actual real boxing matches.
Yeah, because because Canelo's fighting this weekend. We're not even talking about it.
Exactly. Canelo is fighting. So congratulations, Shiz. You fucked up boxing.
No, see, the thing is, I enjoyed the Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. fight, and now it's spiraled out of control. Like, because I think Lamar Odom is fighting this summer, and I don't know what's going on. It all started with Mike Tyson and Floyd. I mean, Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. They did a good thing. They got in the ring and it actually wasn't horrible. Now, when Jake Paul or Logan Paul knocked out Nate Robinson and kind of like spiraled out of control, and you got guys getting paid big money to doing these celebrity boxing matches, and here we are, Floyd Mayweather out of bed, fighting for $100 million on a Sunday in Miami. It's crazy times, man. But I mean, as long as I catch a free stream, I'm gonna watch it. But yeah, I'm not paying. I wouldn't pay 1 cent for this. But yeah, I think it's going to be just a massive beating by Floyd if he wants to. Snell, your thoughts?
Yeah, the person to blame or the people to blame is that Al Heyman And what's the other promoter's name? What's the other big promoter?
Don
Whatever.
King.
No, after Don King. Oh man, no. But you can blame them. The reason why boxing's getting picked off like this is because they keep holding off on the good fights. So this is why they're for the taking. Like the reason why I'll say like the reason why UFC stays on top and like it's a mixed martial art that like somebody else should be able to create like a competitive league that matches the UFC, but the UFC just puts out the top fights. So it's never that gap of like, yo, UFC got fighters that ain't fighting. It's like, no, they're fighting, like the best guys are fighting. With boxing, we waited damn near a decade to see Mayweather Pacquiao. Then when we saw it, it was too late.
Yeah,
I still can't see Bud Crawford, Earl Spence happening in the next 2 to 3 years. Like all the good fights take so long to put together that you're like, yeah, let me see that Tyson versus Roy Jones. At least these are two guys I know. Like, so they kind of, it's boxing's own fault that this is happening. But one thing that I will say is, well, we all know that Floyd has issues reading, but what he is about to do is he's about to get this $100 million. He'll probably beat up both of these Paul brothers back to back, and then that'll be the end of this celebrity boxing. And then Floyd Mayweather will then be the savior of boxing because he stopped these people from running around talking about boxing that can't box. So I think it's smart for him because, like you said, this is one of the few times that in my lifetime it feels like that Floyd. The last time I remember Floyd Mayweather being like not the hated guy or not the guy that you wanted to see lose is like when he fought Zab Judah. Like that's the last time I remember it being like, oh, like Zab might can beat Floyd. But after that, it's always been like, oh man, I hope Floyd finally loses, or I want to see him get knocked out or something like that. But this is like, yo, I hope Floyd Mayweather beat you know what I mean? Like everybody's like that to stop this spectacle. So
yeah, this kind of reminds me that we never got to see like the Floyd Triple G fight. It was just way too late in his career. And
they're two different weight classes.
But no, like they could have made middle ground.
He fought Canelo, so
that's what I'm saying. Like Floyd and Canelo fought, Canelo and Triple G fought, so they could have made their rounds. But like going back to what you were saying about how it's too much politics in boxing, it took 10 years to get to Floyd versus Pacquiao. If we would have gotten that fight on the right proper time, got the Canelo, like we got the Canelo and Floyd at a proper time. Triple G was still trying to come onto the scene a little bit, but we never got that fight, and it's kind of like a lot left to be desired in boxing. Like there's fights that just are not happening. Now there's a delay in the Fury Anthony Joshua fight, and who knows where the hell Wilder is. He ain't fought since he got his ass beat, so it's just.
It's one of those things. And the other is Bob Arum. That's his name. Bob Arum and Al Heyman. Like they're the top two box promoters, and they just don't like. Yo, you're not like you're just not fighting. Like you said, it's just
Wilder hasn't fought in like almost 2 years. I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, like you even think about like Wilder, how long it takes for them, like guys like the Klitschko's retired. Like when you still could have got like a Klitschko Wilder fight in there. Like you still like they take so long that it's just like, yo, you're just messing it up. Like you don't even get to see the top guys fight. Like it's no what like Tyson Fury fought a Klitschko. So how did Wilder not fight him? Like how does that happen? And the same thing with the other big British dude. So it's just like, yo, how is this happening? Where guys like you got the top guys in the sport and they're 1 and 2 or 1A and 1B for years and they don't fight. So
yeah, it's too much politics in boxing. Takes way too long. And like you said, the UFC, like I'm looking on ESPN, on the bottom screen, there's a fight every weekend. Something's happening on ESPN Plus. And I was like, damn, like they got an event like literally every week.
Yeah, nah. You don't like if you that number one fighter, like you fighting that number 2 guy, like soon. like real soon. Like it ain't no it ain't no year outside of you being injured. There's no year wait. Like there's no real long wait.
Yeah, so the last fight for Deontay Wilder was February 2020. So we're beyond a year now,
Yeah.
and he hasn't fought. So I don't know if he's hurt or I don't know, but this is craziness. But yeah, man, it's this Jake Paul versus Floyd Mayweather. It'll be a spectacle on a Sunday afternoon. If I could find a free stream, I'll watch. If not, I'll just watch something else. But round of applause for boxing. All right, some other things that happened. Walmart. So as so as people that know me, they know I frequent Walmart on a daily
You work there.
basis. Yeah, I'm part owner. I own 0.001%. But nah, there was there was a shooting at the one in Neptune a couple days ago, and it's craziness, man. Just people be out there, be careful.
That's
Don't
why I'm going to
know
Walmart, man.
don't know what's going on, but
Yeah.
it's just Walmart. You got to be careful, man.
There was a shooting over that. Was it Great Value?
That's the brand. The great.
Yes, that Great Value. There's the freaking all shots for Great Value. Come on,
Nah,
man.
you see the wildest things on social media in that Walmart, but
That's what COVID started.
I don't know, man. Very possible. Very possible. But another thing that's not on the list. Have y'all seen this is in Long Branch. Have y'all seen these dead fish popping up?
I have.
What do you mean?
There's so in Long Branch there is some type of bacteria in the water. And there's like thousands of dead fishes popping up all in the water. Like
on a beach?
No, it's like the rivers and like the lakes and stuff.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah. It's it's
lake?
That would be the Navasink River. That would be it. So that stretches like the first time I ever heard about it was like more towards like Rumson.
Yeah.
Like the Rumson Red Bank area.
Yeah.
That's the first time I heard about it. But now obviously it's made its way all the way inland to where the river goes into Long Branch at. But yeah, it's like a bacteria infection of some sort. Also, something with like the algae and the oxygen levels in the water. So it's beyond my bachelor's. I tell you that like that's for sure. Like the explanation is beyond my bachelor's degree. So, but no, it's definitely wild. And then like there's people like like this has happened before, and I'm just like, where?
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
Like where and when? Like this is never like I've never seen this before. So I don't know, man. I watched that Seaspiracy documentary on Netflix, and it says we're destroying the ocean, and then a week later, these fish just start popping up dead. So I was like, well, I guess that was an accurate documentary. That was an accurate documentary. But yeah, no, it is wild. Like if you search it, just search. You ain't even got to put dead fish. Just put Navasink River, and it'll show up, and you'll be like, oh wow.
Yeah. It's like thousands of fish, and apparently the mayor of Long Branch is like, I ain't doing shit. So
yeah, I don't even know. I don't know how you even properly like clean that up. Like what's the? I don't know what the proper protocol for that. Like you can't just be like like you can't just put a group of volunteers together. Like put these fish.
I saw something. I saw the Asbury Park Press had written an article about it. Mm-hmm. And somebody in the comments, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but they said that this happened before, and what they did is they had inmates come out and clean those fish out the water.
That's wild.
I don't know if like that's true or not, because you know how sometimes like they'll have inmates like dig a ditch or whatever. Yeah. So if that could be an option, it's a 1,000 fish.
Like, listen, man, I just don't think that like, especially in these times. If you talk about there's like something involving bacteria, like you need sterile hands and people that know what's going on to properly dispose of that. This is definitely not a situation where it's like, grab a couple inmates, give them some dish gloves, and throw this in garbage bags. This is not that situation. Like this is not the time for that. So it's like,
and somebody might just dive in that water and try to swim away. Like just
yeah,
you just never know.
yeah. I think this is definitely a situation where it's like, nah, we need people in hazmat suits cleaning up these fish.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, prayers for Long Branch. One thing that wasn't on here. My guy J. Cole, he announced a new album is coming out next week.
Boss said, come on, man.
It's, it's called The Off Season. It's coming out next Friday. Any thoughts?
I mean, I'll definitely listen to it when it comes out.
Well, see, Snell, you've doubted Cole since the very beginning.
So here we go misquoting me once again. Never doubted Cole. I've never doubted Cole. My issue. This is my. It's not even an issue. My thing about J. Cole albums is like they're just like a book or a video or a good video game. You only need to play it one time through. There's no need to there's no need to I just beat this Final Fantasy 7. I'm about to go back and do it again. Like no. It was good enough the first time through. I understood everything that was going on. I don't need to go back and replay it. That's how I feel about J. Cole albums. Like they're quality albums. Do I need to hear them again? Not quite. That's how I feel about his albums.
That's unfortunate, but I'm very excited about this album. Now, I will say he's I won't say they've been duds, but ever since the Forest Hill Drive album, and I think that was in 2014, the last couple albums have not been the greatest. So I'm hoping that this new album, The Off Season, kind of like makes up for the last couple of albums that he's put out.
Is there any features on it? Did they give the track list out or
no?
not?
I didn't see a track list, but he is releasing a single at midnight. So we'll get a or I'm not sure if it's a single or just a song, but he is releasing a song, so we'll get to see kind of where the sound is at. My thing is, I hope that he has learned that working with other producers is a good thing. He doesn't need to produce all the time. Like he's solid. He ain't, he's not Timberland. He's not Pharrell. He's not even like a Knife Wonder or a Big Crit. Like his beats are not the greatest. So hopefully he's learned, or get a couple beats from some other big time producers. Improve on the sound quality a little bit. But I'm looking forward to the album. Big Cole fan. Been a fan since like the very beginning. Saw him in concert. Put on a good show. And yeah, we'll see. Tahim, any thoughts? I know you're a fan. I'm not sure if you're a fan. This is not that gangster music that you like to listen to, but this is educational music. So I'm not sure if you're a fan of it or not.
That's so disrespectful. Like, why do you say gangster music like that? Like you don't listen to gangster music, as you call it.
No, I
so
do.
You don't listen to West. Yeah, I'm about to say you don't listen to West Side Gun.
I do.
You think he's the best rapper in the world?
I'm well rounded though. Like if I put on a Drake song, you think I put on devil music? So I don't know.
He don't write his own raps.
Nah, man. But go ahead. What are your thoughts for this upcoming album that's coming out for J. Cole?
I'm not going to say it's highly anticipated on my part. I'll definitely give it a listen. If it's good, I'll listen more than once. I know Mo doesn't like that, but
Nah, I can tell you now, it's going to be a good album. You're going to listen to it one time. You will understand everything that he says. You're like, listen, man, that was a quality album.
And I like KOD.
Nah, it was cool. Like the two albums that came out before weren't horrible. It just was like I think that Forest Hill Drive was a really that was his best album in my opinion, and the next two didn't live up to that.
Born Sinners was good. Forest Hill Drive was a lot better, but and then you had I can't even remember the album after that, but it wasn't that great.
Yeah, it was
and then you had
Eyes Only.
Yeah, and then you had KOD, which I liked. So I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure I like this album.
I think, and another thing. So this is another reason why I think it'll actually be better. It'll probably be better than normal because there's so much bad music that it's like this will be like gospel, like you know what I mean. Like there's so much they're even though there's artists out here putting out music that's good music. There's so many people putting out so much more bad music that it's like, oh,
Oh yeah, that's true.
this is so much better than trying to weed through whatever song that the radio is possibly playing at this point. So
Yeah.
I think that'll also help it. It's going to be like yeah, I don't have to listen to whoever these new guys are.
Yeah. One thing I am a bit concerned about is since they're not going to be able to really tour the albums when these big artists release their albums, maybe they might be holding back a little bit. Like
Oh
here's
yeah,
like the B sides, but it's an
yeah,
album.
yeah.
Um,
I agree.
which is I'm a bit surprised that Drake. I mean, Drake says he's coming out with an album soon. We'll see. Cole just announced that he's coming out with an album like just yesterday, and it's coming out in 2 weeks. So we'll see, like if they really, really, because even like I listened to the DJ Khaled album, and you could just tell it was just patchwork. Like please write your verse. I'll put it together somewhere. Throw it in here. It wasn't that great. Um, but speaking of music, there is a trend going on that it's almost criminal. So artists are going back and recreating songs that they made like 10 years ago or beyond
Oh yeah.
because the labels don't have control of it anymore because it's like I
Oh
guess
yeah.
statute of limitations or whatever. Some of these remakes
I don't think it's statute of limitations, but
or whatever. Some of these remakes are horrible, like literally awful. I'll have a couple for next week, but yeah, do yourself a favor. Like I think like Alexander O'Neal remade a couple of his own songs, and they're just like
who
horrible.
is Alexander O'Neal?
See, you don't know music, but now he's like
A gospel figure?
now he makes he made a couple. He has a couple big hits. As soon as you hear a couple like notes, you'll understand. Um,
So I happened to stumble upon which is a great interview. It's a little long, but if you listen to Drink Champs
Mm-hmm.
when they interview Cameron,
Mhm.
he talks about it. So if you get into a dispute say you get into a dispute with your label and you want your masters back and they won't give them back, what you can do, which I actually think a lot of people are going to do, is what you can do is you can go back. You have to go back and remake that song, and you can go. You have to go get the same produce. Like if it's sample, you got to get everything redo everything the same way that you did it. Remake the song, and then you can point people to that song,
yeah,
and you have the masters to that song.
yeah. I know.
So for a
Taylor.
label, it's kind of stupid to let somebody do that because then it's like we ain't even getting a slice of the watermelon. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? So here's your masters, and just give us our little piece.
yeah. I know. Taylor Swift is like remaking all of her
Yeah,
albums because of
yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly.
So
And it's like you know what I mean? Like, would you rather give her but she's young enough that her voice is pretty much the same. So it's
yeah,
just like, nah, I don't even want that. I don't want you to even have a piece. Like, I want the full thing. Like these are all mine now.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it makes sense. But
If you're old, it's
if
going
you're
to sound
old,
horrible.
you gotta let it go.
Yeah. All right. And to close out, we have Mortal Kombat. Tahim lists it as the worst movie of all time.
I didn't
It
see
is.
it.
I
That shit is
actually, I,
fucking
I actually
stupid.
watched it. I watched the movie, and I'm not really into like Mortal Kombat movies, Street Fighter, whatever, Marvel movie. I'm not into none of it. I did watch it though, and it was cool to see some of my like favorite characters. I'm a Scorpion was my favorite Mortal Kombat guy. It was good to see Cabal. That was like one of my second favorite Mortal Kombat people. But yeah, the story was kind of just like extremely cheesy. Um,
Yeah,
and I was like, it's on.
yeah.
The good thing HBO Max is giving you these new releases on the same day, so might as well. The service is expensive enough, might as well take advantage. But yeah, now I wouldn't recommend this movie as like this was just like it was
That's what
almost
I'm
like
saying.
background noise.
Yeah, man. So my thing is this: I didn't watch it, and I'll tell people exactly why I didn't watch it. And I don't like the movie theaters, so this is going to be a bewildering statement. But some things are just not to be watched on a regular television. Like I watched another movie. I watched Kong vs. Godzilla, which was another movie that the plot of the movie was pointless.
They told a story way too fast.
Yeah, it was whatever. But at the same time, when you watching like Kong versus Godzilla on a 55-inch, that's not that's not that. That's just like watching two action figures fight each other. That's not Kong versus Godzilla in a movie theater. Like that, like that's different. And I feel the same way about like Mortal Kombat. It's just like, yo, this is a big deal. Like you ain't just supposed to like just roll this out for like yo, we sit in this Mortal Kombat straight to DVD. Like that's not like that's a lack of respect. Like that's what that is, and that's how I feel some of these movies are. So I didn't watch it because I knew what would happen. I was like, listen, this is not meant to be like on a small screen like this. Like they're gonna make their money when it's like, yeah, the movie theaters are fully back open. Go watch this Mortal Kombat 3D. Like that's when they'll make their money. So yeah. I never watched it, and then everybody was like, it's terrible. So I was like, good, save myself a couple hours.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I had no expectation. I didn't even plan on watching it. It just was on, and you know, I felt like I've seen worse movies. I felt like I've seen much better movies. It was just like, all right, 98 minutes of film. And that's it. All right. Is there anything else left to discuss? Anything we may have missed? Saw Albert Pujols got released.
Yeah,
Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, that's just disrespectful.
Yeah, he probably should have just stayed in St. Louis. Just
yeah.
His legacy
unless he asked to be released, that's just like let that man like I'm gonna go ahead and need you to hit that retire button. Like just retire, so we ain't gotta cut you.
Somebody made up somebody asked a question. I think it was Chris Broussard on their show about athletes that decided to stay with their franchise and had a better legacy as opposed to going somewhere else. And they named like current players that are kind of in that situation. And one of the players that would made perfect sense was like somebody like Draymond Green. Like him deciding to stay with Steph, and I know Clay's been out, but I think if Draymond would have took a major check from like the Detroit Pistons or something like that, his legacy goes in the dumps.
Yeah.
But Albert Pujols, I'm not a baseball guy, but I definitely remember him like when he was on the Cardinals just going off. So we'll see what the rest of his career looks like. I know he wasn't really doing that well this year. I think he had only like 5 home runs, batting like under 200. So yeah, I mean, any thoughts on Albert Pujols?
Listen, man.
No, Hall of Fame career. I mean, hang it up.
Yeah, he gonna be. They at least should let him. Like I said, just like I think somebody else did it too, where it was like, yeah, I'm like before a game, like on a Wednesday, like yeah, I'm retiring. Like I'm done. like at least give him that option. Like yo, Albert, just hit that button. Like yo, I'm done. Like this is it. The love for the game's not there anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and retire.
Yeah.
But so just to release him is just like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, also we missed another boxing fight. We have Peter Guns getting into the boxing match. Boxing ring. He's fighting I think another loving hip hop dude. I think his name is Cisco or something like that. Cisco's a big dude, so Peter Guns better be ready. Bro, Peter Guns like 58 years old too, so
both of them dudes is like 5'6", 5'7". Not big dudes. Like they're like. They are tiny. They are tiny musicians. Like they are not big dudes. No, that's going to be another reason why these celebrity boxing matches stop.
Yeah, this is all because of Chiz.
Somebody gonna really like because like somebody at like an event like that Peter Guns event, like somebody gonna get really hurt and it's gonna be like, yeah, there's no doctors present. Like somebody's really hurt. Like yo, Like yo, get like
So somebody call 911.
yo, like yo, Peter Guns is really hurt. Like yo, we can call a hospital or. Matter of fact, like, don't call an ambulance because he can't afford it. Like call an Uber and take him to the hospital. Get him to the hospital so he ain't got to pay.
He ain't got no insurance.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, Caitlyn Jenner. She.
Come on, man.
So I saw a tweet the other day
Carl Jenner.
So I love Twitter, man. Twitter is an amazing place, and
you want to know what's messed up about Twitter? Why I love it though, because Twitter, you got 160 characters, and a lot of people can't read and write, and they mess up. And they mess up on Twitter. And they get things wrong a lot.
So hold on, just give me
that character. That character crunch shows its face, like yo.
Yeah. So if you don't know, Caitlyn Jenner came out and spoke about like transgender athletes, like transgender kids performing in like like a transgender male performing in female sports. You rarely hear it the opposite way because like in my opinion, it's just like you know what? I'm not gonna say that. Let me find this quote real fast.
Nah, man, you gotta say it.
Nah, I'm not gonna say that. I like.
Only God can judge you, man.
Nah, a lot of people can judge me actually. So pretty much. No, let me. Where the fuck is this quote at? So Caitlyn Jenner says that she is opposed of transgender males that are transitioning into females performing in or participating in female sports. She thinks it's an unfair advantage.
It is.
And I agree. So, damn, where is this tweet at? So first of all, where do you what do you guys think about that?
I'll say this. I think I agree. I think that there is a clear advantage in any contact sport.
Yes.
Of any contact sport, I think there's a clear-cut advantage.
Yeah, so a lot of people were opposed to that, of course, and they were saying like, how could you say that? It's human rights, like these are athletes, and it was a bunch of craziness. And if you give me a second, I will find what somebody tweeted, and I want to get you guys' opinion on this. Tayyip, any thoughts on the participation of transgender males performing in female sports?
I'm just gonna say it's wrong.
Would you care to elaborate, sir?
No.
It's the when it comes to it, I see.
All right, I found it. All right.
When it comes to it, the elite. When we're talking about at any level, right? So if you talk about the elite level or the top, the upper echelon level, like I'm not going to say like, hey, you can go get any 5 guys and go out there and beat the USA Olympic team. That's not what I'll say. Right?
You sound like somebody brought that up to you before or something. Like somebody proposed that to you.
I'm not gonna say that, right? But also I'll say this. If you took a team of Division I athletes, like there's a small percentile of Division I basketball players, there is a great chance that they're going to beat the U.S. Women's Olympic team rather easily in a team game of basketball. That's just I don't think I would get much debate there, right?
I agree.
So it just goes all the way. It just goes all the way down. If you're taking, I'm not going to say the top college or the top high school, right? So if you take that next tier of athlete above, like, oh, this guy would have finished 8th in the state wrestling championship. and you have him wrestling women, it's a good chance he's gonna win. He's gonna win. He's gonna win it.
Yeah,
and that goes with any sport. So that's what I say. Once you get to that level of the elite athlete or the better athlete, and you take that next tier down, and they want to be, they are transgender, competing against women, the even the best woman does, is at a disadvantage.
All right, so here's the tweet. This is why Twitter is the greatest. So this is from Shauna Brooks. She is a transgender, and she says, if Caitlyn Jenner is in favor of trans youth being banned by playing in female sports, then she should lead by example, and all her achievements in the Olympics be stripped because, to be honest and fair, Bruce got them awards and not Caitlyn. So she completely missed the point.
Yeah,
That
that's more funny than anything.
Yeah.
She got it.
She
got
missed
it she got it backwards.
Yeah, she missed the point that Bruce competed against men.
Yeah. No, I think to give this lady the benefit of the doubt, I think what she's trying to say is Caitlyn can't parade around like she is a Olympic winning athlete because it wasn't her, it was Bruce that won. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what she's saying instead of, yeah, you're right. Bruce, he was competing against men. I think she knows that. I just think she's trying to say Caitlyn is not a Olympic athlete which
is accurate.
Carl is acting like now.
Yeah.
So now Carl is not Caitlyn is whatever the fuck.
Technically, Bruce does not exist. So technically,
yeah. So
those
medals have to go back to somebody. They can't be in Caitlyn's house because she's stealing at this point.
So
okay. if you want to go that angle, that's fine.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. I think that's what she's saying instead of the man versus man. But I mean, it's just we can't talk too much about it because this is a touchy subject for a lot of people, which I understand.
Yeah.
Listen, man,
because
when it comes to athletics, man. Now when it comes to athletics, this is an easy one.
No, our opinions will be, I think, a little too harsh, and some people won't.
Nah, not when it comes to athletics, man. This is I'm pretty straightforward on this one. There's no way you're not changing my mind that somebody.
No,
I went undrafted. I went undrafted in the NBA, so I'm gonna say I'm a transgender and go play in the WNBA. Like I'm not signing off on that.
Nah, me either. I 100%
just
agree.
Just to say like, hey, I'm not getting a regular job. Like I'm
not getting a regular job.
Like I'm gonna play back. Like no. Like I'm not co-signing.
Yeah, listen. I think we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
But if we were to elaborate more, I think we might get banned from fucking social media. Is what I'm saying.
On that note, round of applause. Yeah. All right, so that was episode 124 in the books. You can find us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, check out our YouTube channel at Second and One Podcast. If you have any merchandise, music, beats, business inquiries you want to send to us, send that over to info@secondandone.com. And yeah, NFL draft is coming going. NBA playoffs are upon us almost. We got some boxing events coming up. And new music coming, and current events is current events, and yeah, man. If you guys have any last remarks before we get out of here,
stay safe. Get that COVID vaccination.
Listen, man, go get that Johnson & Johnson, baby.
Don't get that Johnson & Johnson. Don't get that Johnson & Johnson.
Listen, man, y'all can't be pro-vaccine and not be pro-Johnson & Johnson. That's all.
It gave like 3 people blood clots.
When they putting vinegar in the vaccine, like that's not a.
They stretched it with vinegar.
Stretching it with that white vinegar, like that's how you get
white
sick.
Vinegar, yo.
3 out of 7 million, baby. They know. Listen, man, I take those odds. Those good odds.
Yeah, but
to you fourth.
Yeah, good luck, and get back to us after you take that Johnson & Johnson. But all right, if there's nothing else, this is the Second One Podcast. Thank you guys for listening. We go with you guys next time.